Simple and striking. Pure and eternal. Refined and luxurious. It makes a statement like nothing else. Celebrate your special love and show it to all the world with the gift of eggs. Whatever the occasion, dazzle her with eggs.
KHJ Los Angeles.
Portions of the day's programming are reproduced by means of electrical transcriptions or tape recording.
You're listening to the radio.
The radio program you're currently listening to is both lowbrow and esoteric at the same time.
It's just two guys making out. Relax.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Now sit back, relax, and get ready to go on a musical voyage that makes Sgt. Pepper's seem like a rejected jingle for Ritz crackers.
I have got a serious case of the Mondays.
That is so stupid.
I think we're about to start a radio show.
Let's quiet down and try to be mature, okay?
For the second time, the Vince Lombardi Trophy is headed to Philadelphia. Eagles fly in Super Bowl 59. The Eagles are Super Bowl champions for the second time, 40-22. They take down the Chiefs.
Yep, they did. It is the Mike Show. So happy you could join us right here, right now on Radio 434, the Radio 434 apps, and Radio434.com. Also on the Alexa. Yeah, there she is. So yeah, we were watching the game at least through to the second half, the start of the second half. Maddie was not feeling well, so we decided we needed to attend to that. Because I really didn't have a dog in this particular fight. I'm more of I'm a hockey fan, and if I do root for any particular NFL team, it would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. But again, they were not there, and so you may then comment and wonder, well, if you are a Steelers fan and you're from the Pennsylvania area, then you should have rooted for the Eagles, right? Well, not necessarily. Necessarily makes pies and cakes, but that's not a 100% assumption, because when you are a Pittsburgh fan, see, the state of Pennsylvania, the great commonwealth that it is huge. Okay, and then you've got Pittsburgh on one side, and then you've got Philadelphia on the other side, and then you've got the Amish, and then you've got a bunch of rednecks and some meth, and it's a big place. Okay, and Philadelphia fans, and I don't want to offend anyone in our listening pod. However, typically, my experience with Philadelphia fans is they will all load up on a bus and they will hop on the turnpike and they will come to Pittsburgh and they'll fill up our stadium or fill up our arena, and it is just it's a little overwhelming. I guess that's a good way to put it. It's a little overwhelming. Okay, and I think Philadelphia fans will agree that they can be a little overwhelming, especially when coming into a different city. All right. So with that being said, my pick yesterday was Philadelphia. Why? Not because they were from Pennsylvania, not because they were the closest thing to my hometown or anything like that, or my former hometown. No, nothing like that. No, it was. Here's my thought process on this. The whole Taylor Swift thing, the whole 2 Super Bowls back to back. I mean, this guy is living the life, right? I mean, he has got it made in the shade. Life can't get any easier for this guy, right? I think he's had enough. Quite frankly, I think he had enough. And that's why I was rooting for Philadelphia. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. Maybe that's some deep-rooted psychosis in me. But I just felt like this guy has had enough. All right, time to give it to someone else, and that's why, again, I was rooting for Philadelphia. Today is a busy day. We've got guests plenty joining us on the program, and then I've got this is why I need a producer, or at the very least, I need a team of interns who can do the job of a producer. Okay, so if I had that, then they could be fielding these texts and emails that you keep hearing dinging and dinging and dinging with folks. Yeah, it's nonstop, which is a great thing. I love it. I am so extremely happy with the way things are turning out. Not just because Philadelphia won, not just because Kansas City lost. No, it's just I'm a happy camper. So today our guests will include we've got Nat Marshall is going to be joining us from the organization LAYSI, and we're going to talk about the Unity Walk and celebration that is coming up. We also have Bruce Montgomery, and Bruce produces a podcast that talks about brands, talks about brand strategy, talks about businesses and what it takes to win in business. But Bruce is going to be joined by Chris Sadler. Now, if you don't know who Chris Sadler is, Chris is one of my clients and just a fantastic guy. Chris is the president and CEO of Three Roads Brewing and Ballad Brewing. Okay, so he's the boss. See, look, there. He's the boss at Three Roads, and we are going to talk about the Three Roads Brewing story. How it got started, positioning a business in the marketplace, what it takes to build a brand and compete, not just on the local level, but also in distribution, because Three Roads beers and Ballad Brewing beers are distributed all over the Mid-Atlantic. So what does it take to go up against, somebody like a Budweiser? What does it take to go up against somebody like a Coors? What does it take to go up against, somebody like a Devil's Backbone and win? What does that take? So we're going to talk with Chris. We're going to talk with Bruce, get some insights into business. It's just business, baby. So that's all on the way. Of course, we've got your 5 random facts. Of course, we've got your stupid criminals in the news, and then we've got some good news for you as well. So we are going to break down the Super Bowl. And by the way, no team has ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. So the Kansas City Chiefs really were up against that milestone. But we're going to break it down a little bit. We're going to break down some of the stats, and then our top questions the Super Bowl left us asking. All right, that's all on the way. This portion of our broadcast is brought to you in part by CMA's Honda of Lynchburg.
Looking for a dealership you can trust? CMA's Honda of Lynchburg is here for you. Our legacy of quality service speaks for itself. Drive away today in a Honda that's perfect for you. Trusted by the Lynchburg community for years. CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Owners just care more.
Three Roads Brewery is Lynchburg's gathering spot. Enjoy the relaxed open atmosphere of the Lynchburg Tap Room with plenty of space to unwind or outside on their expansive patio with friends and the entire family. Check out Three Roads games, arcade style, darts, and more. And of course, an excellent selection of craft beers brewed on site. Grab a Three Roads today at their tap room, 1300 Court Street, downtown Lynchburg, their tap room in Farmville, or anywhere they serve great beer. Three Roads is also available at area convenience stores and supermarkets. And if they don't carry Three Roads, ask them to. Brewing community, Three Roads Brewery.
Join us down at the Lynchburg Community Market and experience all that one of the nation's oldest farmers markets has to offer. Grab some lunch from our restaurants and shops, or shop from our awesome selection of artisan, handmade goods in our crafters gallery. Swing by on Saturday to check out our farmers market, where you can shop from the freshest selection of local grown produce, meats, and more. The Lynchburg Community Market, located in downtown Lynchburg on the corner of 12th and Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 to 2 year-round. For more information, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Lynchburg Community Market.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio 434.
Kelsey's wife, Taylor Swift, in the audience.
They keep on showing Taylor Swift up in the press box.
I'm sorry, girlfriend.
I'm gonna root for the Eagles, not KC. Root for the Eagles, Jason Kelsey's former team. I'm gonna root for the Eagles. They're Taylor-free. Football ain't about girlfriends.
Today's show is brought to you by Monday, the day you wonder, when's the next holiday?
The Mike Show. So should the day after the Super Bowl be a national holiday? I don't know. Maybe. I probably wouldn't take it off because, we have the recap of the big game. There's all that. But anyway, hi there. No team has ever won 3 straight Super Bowls. The Kansas City Chiefs had a chance to change that against the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 59 last night, but they failed to show up at all. The Eagles were up 7-0 after the first quarter, 24-0 at the half, 34-0 with seconds left in the third quarter. That's when Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes finally started making some plays. That was too little, too late. The Eagles even did the Gatorade shower with 3 minutes left to go in the game, which might have been a record for the earliest coach bath, by the way. The liquid was yellow-green if you did one of those silly prop bets. Anyway, the final score, 40-22 Eagles. After the game, Philly quarterback Jalen Hurts was named MVP. He threw for 221 yards, including 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 72 yards, plus a rushing touchdown. Mahomes actually ended up with more passing yards, 257, and more touchdowns, 3. But pretty much all of that was in garbage time after he was already down more than 30 points. He also threw 2 interceptions and coughed up a fumble. It was arguably the worst game in his NFL career. He'd never been down by 34 points before. And for all these Swifties out there, tight end Travis Kelce was a non-factor, although the Philadelphia defense made everyone look bad. By the way, Taylor got booed, but the defense didn't have anything to do with that. There was a slim opportunity for something magical. Tom Brady was one of the broadcasters, so people were talking about how Mahomes could have made a run at Brady's legacy if he would have stormed back from a 24-point deficit at the half, or after being down 34-0. Brady and the New England Patriots were down 28-3 in the third quarter in Super Bowl 51 to the Atlanta Falcons, before miraculously coming back to win 34-28 in overtime. But clearly, that wasn't in the cards for Mahomes and the Chiefs. There you go. With that brings us to our top list. And let me find the thingy. There's the thing. The big game may be over, but the issues it raised will linger longer with us for days. So as you return to work, school, or that part of prison where everyone mingles this morning, Be ready to discuss anything from today's list. It's our top list today. Top questions the big game left us asking. All right, here we go. Number one. Did the refs forget the Chiefs were supposed to win? What the hell was Samuel L. Jackson yelling about? Top questions the big game left us asking. Why does Budweiser still deliver beer by horseback? When Patrick Mahomes turned over the ball, did Andy Reid say "Fumblerooski"? Did any of those flying Pringles mustaches mate with Eugene Levy's eyebrows? Top questions the Super Bowl left us asking. Let's see. Will Taylor dump Travis for Saquon? Oh, wow. Why does Hellman's think we all want mayonnaise and think mayonnaise makes women orgasm? What? Let me read that again. Top questions the Super Bowl left us asking. Why does Hellman's think we want mayonnaise that makes women orgasm? There you go. Better to proofread it. Top questions the Super Bowl left us asking. Is Mick Ultra really worth hustling people in a pickleball tournament for? Top questions the big game left us asking. How many ads is Matthew McConaughey in? And top questions the Super Bowl left us asking. Why didn't I just watch the Puppy Bowl? Did you see that sick meme with the robot dog and the Puppy Bowl? Sorry, anyway, I digress. Coming up, we have news and not headline news. That's all on the way. This portion of the broadcast is brought to you in part by Jersey Mike Subs.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, impatience, baby-like wonder, indecisive, anticipatory chewing, nerves pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
From brand new to lightly used, CMA's Honda of Lynchburg's got you covered. Shop our growing selection today and find our best deals on our entire inventory. That's savings on every single vehicle. And on our used cars, take 3 days to love it or leave it. Plus, we'll buy your current vehicle. Trade in with us and get an unbeatable offer. Start shopping and saving today. CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Owners just care more.
It's the 5th annual United Way 5K on the Runway, taking place on Saturday, April 26th at 5 p.m. at the Lynchburg Regional Airport. The course is fast and flat, following the taxiway next to the main runway. Experience planes and all things aviation in this unique race to benefit the United Way of Central Virginia. For more information and to register, visit uwrunway5k.com.
The Mike Show on Radio 434. Radio 434.
This is not headline news. Super Bowl 59 is over, or as it'll be remembered in history books, Super Bowl 59. The Eagles crushed the Chiefs 40-22. The unanimous pick for most valuable player for the Eagles, Patrick Mahomes. Super Bowl ads included dancing tongues, flying mustaches and eyebrows, and seal is an actual seal. But the most disturbing ad was just Kanye being Kanye. Coors Light had a funny commercial featuring sloths, who, by the way, moved way faster than the Chiefs. And Bill Belichick was in a Dunkin' commercial. And like everything he's done without Tom Brady, it was hard to watch. This is not headline news.
No, it's not. It's the Mike Show. It's the Monday edition of the program. So happy you could join us. All right, let's talk video games. And you may be kicking butt in the game of life, or if you may be burning through your extra lives, like there's no tomorrow, you may be winning on level 2 or losing on level 99, or winning on 99 or losing on level 2. I don't know. Somebody asked the internet, if life was a video game, what difficulty level are you playing on? Let's see. I think I might have been playing at the highest level, but now I'm kind of at a medium setting. I don't know, maybe. The most popular choice was medium. 32% said that. 24% said easy. 22% said hard. 5% said nightmare, which is even worse. And another 13% said it's even worse than that. It was just a silly poll, and they called this highest category F this crap. On the flip side, 4% admitted they were on tutorial, the easiest level. Coming up, we're going to get really smart with your 5 random facts. That's all on the way. This portion of our broadcast is brought to you in part by the United Way of Central Virginia. It is their United Way 5K on the Runway coming up. It's the 5th annual United Way 5K on the Runway taking place on Saturday, April 26th at 5 p.m. at the Lynchburg Regional Airport. The course is fast and flat, following the taxiway next to the main runway. Experience planes and all things aviation in this unique race to benefit the United Way of Central Virginia. For more information and to register, visit uwrunway5k.com.
Hi, I'm Megan Huffman from Share Greater Lynchburg. Our website seeks to magnify, equip, and connect our local nonprofit community. You can find ways to donate, volunteer, shop for, or attend events for over 180 organizations. For more information, please visit our website, sharegreaterlynchburg.org.
On December 23rd, a fire next to the Free Clinic of Central Virginia's building caused significant damage to the clinic, leaving the entire building affected by smoke and fire damage. The building has been temporarily condemned as assessments are underway. Free Clinic is devastated to share that they will be closed for an extended period of time that is still to be determined. Please know Free Clinic is working tirelessly on plans to continue serving you in other locations as soon as possible. Your care remains their top priority. To the community and volunteers, they need you now more than ever. Please donate to Free Clinic of Central Virginia. Visit freeclinicva.org/donate for more information. Thank you for standing with us during this challenging time. Together, we will rebuild and continue serving our community.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio 434. And now it's time for
5 random facts.
Yep, that time of the day we cram your head full of usable information, and you can tell it back wherever the heck you happen to be. We don't know where you go or what you do, and quite frankly, it's really none of our business. But if you say any of these 5 random facts back, somebody in the room is bound to say, wow. Maybe, I don't know. Hey, not to be a downer after all that Super Bowl eating, but a study from Goldman Sachs estimates that by 2028, up to 70 million Americans will have tried Ozempic or similar drugs for weight loss. The U.S. population in 2028 is projected to be about 355 million, with 279 million adults. So that means up to 25% of American adults will have tried those drugs. Number 2, in the early 1900s, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches were considered a delicacy and only eaten by rich people.
I'm rich. You're not.
But by the 1920s, the price of peanut butter, I was going to say PB&J, the price of peanut butter went way down and PB&Js became more popular. Number 3, in an NHL game, if all of the team's goalies are injured, the team has the option to suit up anyone as their goalie, even somebody from the stands. Number 4, Colgate started selling a line of frozen dinners in 1982.
I think I may need a kidney transplant.
But they failed miserably because people associated their logo with toothpaste and not good food. And then number 5, the first person to use the phrase "Founding Fathers" was William G. Harding. Oh yeah, I knew him well. When he accepted his party's nomination for president in 1920, and then he went on to eat a PB&J. And those are your 5 random facts.
This has been today's edition of
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 random facts.
All right. It is the Mike Show. It's the Monday edition coming up. If you're listening to the podcast, we have 2 great interviews. Nat Marshall is joining us from the organization known as LAYSI. He's going to talk about the Unity Walk that's coming up. And we're going to be talking with Chris Sadler and Bruce Montgomery. Bruce hosts a podcast called Roads to Retail, and Chris Sadler is one of the founders and the managing partner of Three Roads Brewing. He's also a client of mine and kind of my boss when it comes to Three Roads. So we're going to have a conversation about emerging brands, starting a brand new business, maintaining your market share and growing your market share, even financing businesses, how to go about it, that and so much more. It is an extended segment, and you can also find it on the podcast as bonus content. You can also go to our Facebook page and watch that segment specifically. It is with Chris Sadler from Three Roads, Bruce Montgomery from Roads to Retail. That is all on the way. Some extended content for you on The Mike Show. This portion of the broadcast is brought to you in part by CMA's Honda of Lynchburg.
Looking for a dealership you can trust? CMA's Honda of Lynchburg is here for you. Our legacy of quality service speaks for itself. Drive away today in a Honda that's perfect for you. Trusted by the Lynchburg community for years. CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Owners just care more.
Join us down at the Lynchburg Community Market and experience all that one of the nation's oldest farmers markets has to offer. Grab some lunch from our restaurants and shops, or shop from our awesome selection of artisan, handmade goods in our crafters gallery. Swing by on Saturday to check out our farmers market, where you can shop from the freshest selection of local grown produce, meats, and more. The Lynchburg Community Market, located in downtown Lynchburg on the corner of 12th and Main Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 7 to 2 year-round. For more information, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Lynchburg Community Market.
There's nothing like holding a freshly grilled Jersey Mike's cheesesteak. It's even better than holding a winning $1 million lottery ticket. For starters, Uncle Sam takes half. Then you buy some useless stuff, like a tiny suit of armor for your cat. And before you know it, your sister's cousins and Uncle Frankie come knocking on your door for handouts. Bing, bang, boom, you're back to zero. So if you want to play a winning number, order a number 17 Mike's Famous Philly. Freshly grilled right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing, a sub above.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio
434.
It is the Mike Show. It's the Monday edition of the program. Nat Marshall joining us from LAYSI.
Yeah,
Hi, Nat.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am good, thank you.
It's good to see you. The LAYSI organization is fantastic and helps so many kids in the area. Tell us what LAYSI is and stands for.
All right, thank you. So LAYSI is Lynchburg Area Youth Sports Initiative, and it came about maybe 4 or 5 years ago when a group, actually Dr. Todd Olson from University of Lynchburg, the women's soccer coach, they've been doing some international work with folks in Africa, and then during COVID, he felt like his players wanted to do something that would support and help the local community. So we got together and started thinking, all right, what can we do to help our young people? And it's something great about sports. Sports can bring folks together. Sports can really give kids an opportunity and the learning experience that can really help them throughout their lifetime. So LAYSI is about just providing the opportunity to work with kids and entice them, attract them through sports. Basketball, football, those are main ones that seem to really get kids' attention. And then from there, we introduce them to the other sports: lacrosse, soccer, softball, tennis, golf, a wide variety of things that, what is it, 0.003% or something of the kids who would hope to be a pro football player or basketball player or pro anything actually become that. So, what we're trying to do is introduce them to sports that will perhaps one day be that life sport, playing golf or playing tennis, things that, as adults they may well actually do, and co-ed basketball, co-ed volleyball or something of that sort. So.
And sports, even at the little kid level, can be expensive for parents. When you're talking the gear that you have to buy and the cleats and this and that and everything, it can be very, very expensive. And I understand LAYSI offers programs that provide a lot of these things that the kids need.
Yeah, it used to be a time when you could play the sandlot basketball, sandlot baseball, or whatever, and have the skills to be proficient. Now it's all about travel ball. If you aren't doing travel ball, you aren't going to be able to attain the skills and abilities to really compete in those key sports: basketball, football, soccer, those things of that sort. So yeah, absolutely. On a weekend, I know a lot of families who ultimately spend the $200, $300, $400, $500 in a weekend between the travel, food costs, and hotels. So LAYSI's trying to bring sports local, and or if the circumstance is to help those organizations to allow kids to come on. We have a scholarship program where we can provide some help if their kid wants to do that. Nice. We have a sports locker over at the plaza where we can outfit kids if they need cleats or shorts or different types of equipment. So we're trying to do whatever we can to sort of even the playing field.
That is fantastic. So LAYSI is also promoting and celebrating the Unity Walk and celebration that's coming to Lynchburg. Talk about that.
So LAYSI's, we've always tried to be a collaborator. We don't like necessarily to take credit or own anything. So we always trying to get involved with things that are beneficial, that has an element of exercise. So once upon a time we thought, hey, wouldn't it be great to have a run in the wintertime? So the initial thought was that we'd have an MLK run in January, and the very first weekend we had it snowed, and we said, okay, that maybe not. And then the area where we decided was was about a mile or 3/4 of a mile, and that's not much of a run. So we said, okay, maybe a walk. And then we pull people together, and now, so it's gotten to a point now where it's the Unity Walk. We're trying to bring people together over on 5th Street, and the city cemetery has just been great. We've asked 5th Street Baptist Church to have a couple of songs from their gospel choir. We got a bunch of vendors who will be there. Just ultimately now it's just to bring young people there, to get them engaged and knowing about. I mean, yes, the exercise aspect of it, but there's so many things that people don't know about. So we got a lot of folks just coming and hopefully being part and enjoying music. And the interesting thing is that one is not a fundraiser. We'll end up giving about $2,000 or $3,000 worth of gifts and prizes. So every kid that we see actively engaged and involved, they could well win a gift card to Chick-fil-A or Burger King or McDonald's or Subway. So
that's awesome.
Incentivizing.
It really is, and that's taking place when?
February 22nd. That's a couple Saturdays away.
Okay.
After we spent the whole weekend looking forward to tomorrow. In regards to the weather. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we have a decent day. And cold. We've done this. This is our 4th year of doing it, and we've had lots of wind, and it's been cold the last couple of times. So we said, all right, there were a lot of folks who ended up leaving, but we were saying, hey, we got all these more prizes, but people were saying, this is too cold, we're leaving. So this time we're going to have a couple warming stations. GLTC is providing a bus that you can get warm. So if it is really cold or blustery or whatever, we tried to make some inroads there. We have the building right there across there in the area with the 5th and Federal Circle. They're going to allow us to use the bathrooms. The new restaurant, The Yard, will be providing appetizers, hot chocolate, tea, coffee, things of that sort. So we hope that people will really just enjoy this opportunity to get out. And the key word is unity. And unity means bringing all peoples together. We haven't lost the fact that this is also a Black History Month event. So,
absolutely.
The underlying theme is African Americans and labor, and so we've asked the Career Works to be there to just talk about the availabilities, and if people are out of work or looking for careers. So all kinds of conversations that can hopefully happen. Just by the fact of looking and knowing. Oftentimes, I wear a lot of hats, so I'm familiar with a lot of things.
Absolutely.
But sometimes when you get caught up in all this, you don't realize that really only 5% of the population really knows what a career works is, or knows what United Way provides, and so on and so forth. So this will be a great opportunity for folks to be there and just have some general conversations like, okay, I didn't know that. Hey, and this could be a benefit to me or my kids or whatever.
Absolutely. And in addition, you'll have some entertainment and some storytelling as well that'll be taking place.
Yeah. So this is our third year working with the Old City Cemetery. Oh, man, last year was just tremendous. And most times I don't have the opportunity to engage in that because I'm on this end trying to coordinate things. Right. So this last year I did have the opportunity to walk with the crowd up to City Cemetery, and the presentation was just breathtaking. I said, wow, this is fantastic. So we want to keep a part of that, and we'll have a person who will be acting as one of the folks who are buried in the cemetery and telling her story. Okay. So that's really exciting.
This is fantastic. It is the Unity Walk and Celebration. It takes place Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on February 22nd, and I had a little bit of additional information. You'll have a storytelling session where participants will learn more about Lottie Payne Stratton, also known as Miss Booney, as portrayed by Lynchburg local and talented actress Tamika Younger.
Yeah.
I mean, fantastic. And if you're not familiar with Lottie, there's the Lottie Payne Stratton award that's given out at the Academy Center of the Arts each year. Tony Cam just received it last night, which is absolutely tremendous.
Wow, that's something I didn't know. So great.
It's each year somebody from the African American community receives this award and goes on to work with the Academy Center of the Arts for the year on promoting programs and programming for the community, and this is fantastic.
It's all about collaboration, and that's what LAYSI is all about. We are not a 501c3, but we are, United Way of Central Virginia is our fiduciary, and we got the YMCAs, YWCAs. We have the University of Lynchburg, who's been very engaged and supportive of us. BWXT, Freedom First, Bank of the James. All those are folks who sort of drink the Kool-Aid in the sense that we don't spend any money. All the time is voluntary. My time's voluntary. All the others are voluntary. But realize that we are making a difference in the kids' lives. Had somebody talk about the fact that you can either be a participant or you can be a spectator.
Absolutely.
This is all about participants. We're looking for folks who are willing to help out and do versus sit back and say, somebody needs to do something.
Absolutely. Coming up March 16th, you've got a youth basketball tournament, and then you have a spring break pop-up clinic on April 14. You can learn more if you visit LAYSI's website, which is LAYSI.org. All the information is right there, all the events, plus learn more about the Unity Walk. Do you have to register in advance, or can you just show up?
Unless you want to be a vendor, which we certainly invite. That's $30 for vendor spots. Okay. Otherwise, just show up, and if you are there, there's a really, really good chance you will walk away with a prize. Nice. or something. We have 5 bikes that have been donated for us.
Awesome.
So it's tremendous. We just want to make sure that the kids have a great time, walk away with either a gift card or maybe a bike or even some other good prizes that we have.
That's so cool. And that's taking place again on February 22nd. So get out and support LAYSI, get out and support the community, and just have a great time.
Yeah, and keep our fingers crossed that we aren't having 10 inches of snow.
Yeah. Anything could happen.
You never can tell.
No, but it's rain or shine, right?
Yep.
All right. Nat, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Mike, thank you for inviting.
Absolutely. It is the Mike Show. Coming up a little bit later on, we have your audio vault. Stay tuned for that.
Hi, I'm Megan Huffman from Share Greater Lynchburg. Our website seeks to magnify, equip, and connect our local nonprofit community. You can find ways to donate, volunteer, shop for, or attend events for over 180 organizations. For more information, please visit our website, sharegreaterlynchburg.org.
From brand new to lightly used, CMA's Honda of Lynchburg's got you covered. Shop our growing selection today and find our best deals on our entire inventory. That's savings on every single vehicle. And on our used cars, take 3 days to love it or leave it. Plus, we'll buy your current vehicle. Trade in with us and get an unbeatable offer. Start shopping and saving today. CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Owners just care more.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio 434.
It is the Mike Show. It's the Monday edition of the program. We have Bruce Montgomery, who produces a podcast called Road to Retail. We're going to talk with Bruce about his podcast and what you guys focus on and feature. And then we also have Chris Sadler. Chris, no stranger to me. He is the founder, and are you president, CEO? How do you identify yourself?
Manager.
Okay.
That's just the official term. I mean, what the heck?
Yeah. Grand Poobah of Three Roads Brewing and Ballad Brewing. And Chris is one of my clients, and now I work with Chris doing events for Three Roads and Ballad Brewing. So I'm pretty familiar with the story, but a lot of folks, they hear our talking points, they hear our ads, they see our events. They've been to the tap room where they tried our beer, but we want to find out specifically from Chris how it all developed and how it got started, and then we're going to talk about building successful brands. That's all coming up in this segment. And Bruce, I'm immediately thinking, yeah, this might take more than 10 minutes. I mean,
Mike.
Yeah.
And again,
you're the boss, Mike. Thank you so much for bringing me on today to speak with you and Chris about what goes on in the emerging brand world. And I'm a big fan of Chris's operation, and I continue to submit my resume as taste tester, and it keeps getting rejected. So I don't know why.
Mike, I don't think we've actually seen that application, Bruce. That must be the problem. Are you sending it to the right address?
Well, I'm sort of from the Amish community from a technology standpoint, so it's probably going to your spam filter.
Well, as long as you keep coming in and tasting.
Oop, Chris, you're muted.
Yeah, Chris, you muted your mic.
I must have hit the thing. You've got the official taste tester moniker.
I love it. That comes with a T-shirt and a parking place. Excellent.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
We got plenty of those. Well, thank you guys for joining us on the program. We really appreciate it. Chris, let's talk about the Three Roads story.
Yeah, I can give you a thumbnail pretty quickly about. Basically, we formed in 2017 in Farmville, Virginia. We opened our doors September 15th, soft opening. I think October 21 was our hard opening. And realistically, it started as there's six of us that started the brewery, and it was as much an economic development opportunity or objective as anything else. Farmville is a 2-college town, and it seemed to us that they were doing everything they could to avoid being a college town. And we started the brewery as much as anything to prove that that there was room in the market for bars, restaurants, and the like, and to enhance the offering, the entertainment offering in the market. And beer was, I have not met a beer I didn't like. And so it seemed natural. And it was all the rage at that point in time. And, we were towards the end of the, let's call it the craft brewery revolution, and so Farmville was wonderful. We found a great space in the old Southern States building, the old tobacco prizery. They've converted it to loft apartments up above. And so we've got the basement area. We've got a great beer garden. The objective was to brew great beer, which I think we do, and to have a pub-like atmosphere where you can really basically, all walks of life come together in the tap room. And that was the objective. And the second step of that is about a year or so into that, Ashley Kirshner with DLA, which is the Downtown Lynchburg Association, approached us. One of the founders is a friend of hers, and they had visited the tap room, and she was laudatory and said, "Hey, would you think about doing a tap room in Lynchburg?" And we said, "Well, heck yeah, we would." And that's where the tail started to wag the dog. And now we've got a big tap room, and the founding brewer, David Steves, who is a great brewer, suggested that if we were going to build another one, that we build a big one. And so we've now got a big brewer. We're brewing a hell of a lot of beer. And we love Lynchburg, and Lynchburg is growing, and we've been a part of that town. And I love that that space. I mean, it's an old auto dealership from the 30s or 40s, and or maybe even before that. We've got a mural of the old dealership, in one of the rooms in the tap room. But that's been a lot of fun there too, and that has spurred us to push hard into branding and into distribution, which takes us into a whole new realm. And that's kind of how Mike and I Bruce and I got together, is talking about branding and how to build a brand. And, I've had the benefit of talking to Bruce on many occasions, and also the benefit of seeing these questions. And, a lot of the stuff that that you work on is stuff that as you start a business, you don't really think about. I mean, one of the questions I think you wanted to talk about is how important is differentiation? Well, when I started, we were different because we were the only tap room in the market. Right? That was it. Now we have to think about how do we differentiate ourselves from all the other brands on the shelves and all. And I think that's where it really starts to play in, is when you try to expand your marketing to more than just your tap room. Your tap room is local. People come there because they like the feel, they like the sound, they like the beer, but at some point, everybody's got good beer. So how do you differentiate yourself from the other guys that have good beer?
And let's talk about that, Chris, as far as from the manufacturing point of view, because you touched on this in the earlier part of the segment about how Lynchburg, you build it bigger. It is a for sure when you go to not only the tap room, but you look back in the brewery. It is a much bigger operation. It is a manufacturing plant for sure. Let's talk about the manufacturing aspect. Let's talk about the distribution aspect, and then how do you differentiate? How do you make a better beer, or a beer that folks are going to enjoy, not just in the tap room, but out in the community where they're literally going to seek it out and find either another establishment or find a convenience store or a grocery store that carries it?
Well, that's a $64,000 question. How do you convince people to do that? What is the story that you tell? Branding is more, you've got to have, people need to have a reason to try your brand. They need to, from all that I read and all the talk and all of them, and that, you need to be aligned with their value system in some way, shape, or form. So it's more than just the beer. I've heard it said many times before, is you got to get to a certain level of beer. You've got to have a certain quality. But beyond that, it's really all, promotion and marketing and branding. The manufacturing, we now have significant capacity, and we are working hard to fill that capacity. And to fill that capacity really just means we need to sell more beer through distribution. And so I see it as you got your tap rooms, which are your local establishments. They are part of who you are. And the next step is, how do you then convey that to somebody who may never visit the tap room?
Well, and then my question is, when how do you approach then the retailers, the convenience stores, the grocery stores? How do you convince them to carry your brands?
Well, it starts off. We started locally, and so that's relatively easy from a sales pitch standpoint. It's, hey, we're right down the street. We're your local brewery, and there is a general, what would I say, predisposition to want to, buy local. And so that is a big help. And then as you expand those circles, it becomes more difficult. How do you, one, we can point to our sales locally and say, oh, God, we're selling like hotcakes in XYZ retailer. That's always a good story. But then what differentiates you? How do I get my customer? How do I get your customer into your store to buy my beer? That's, I think, the hard part is, and it was kind of scary. The first distribution we did was we did it, on our own, so to speak. That's not legal in Virginia, but it was, for all intents and purposes, we were distributing our own beer, and that's all the beer that our distributor was distributing. And, first sale to a retailer, we're jumping up and down, and we're all excited. Then you realize that you've got to bring the customer into that store to then buy that beer from the retailer. And so your job has really just begun. And that's what we're playing with right now, is how do we, market essentially, on two levels, right? We want to bring people into the tap room, and then we also want to sell beer to people in markets that have really have never been to our tap room. So
absolutely,
Virginia, the beaches, whatever. How do you? And that's what we're toying with, and we've got a big launch coming up that I think will be very interesting to see how that all works. Because
so Mike, this is sort of how I crossed paths with Chris on Road to Retail. My co-founder Tracy Priest and I, we've been in sales and marketing and consumer packaged goods since the early 90s. And during COVID, Tracy called up and said, "Do you have any time?" And I said, "Dude, I got plenty of time right now. No one's doing anything." So we started focusing in on small, challenger, and emerging brands and said, these folks all sort of have the same challenges and initial questions. And I crossed paths with, our podcast, Road to Retail, we're on, we're not as big as the Mike Show, but, out on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Podcasts. And we interview founders, leaders. We interview investors who invest in these emerging brands. We invest in we interview retailers. What are you looking for in an emerging brand? And I stumbled into Chris because I saw an article about how Three Roads was starting to get into stores, which is what I've been doing the majority of my career. And I was already a fan of their product. So I left a note at the Lynchburg tap room and said, "Hey, if you guys ever want to talk about this, I'd be glad to spend some time with you." And Chris and his team have been very eager listeners, and it's complex. And, Chris can talk about the multi-tiered, archaic, in my view, distribution system. But in terms of generating that brand awareness and then driving trial, because once you get into a retailer, there's something called the hurdle rate, the velocity hurdle rate. What does that mean, Bruce? It means every retailer has a different metric or evaluation point, and you need to be selling a certain number of units or a certain number of dollars per store per week. And usually in every set in a store, it's called a category, whether it's beer or cookies or laundry detergent. And each of those buyers assigned to the category, their shelf space is an open competition every day. And usually the top 80% of SKUs, which are the individual sizes of anything, again, beer, Advil, a 12 count is different from a 24 to a 50. The top 80% of SKUs in a category are usually considered safe, and the bottom 20 are vulnerable to being discontinued or replaced. So most retailers will give you 6 to 9 months to be hitting hurdle rate. And you've got to do everything in your power to get there, because you generally won't get a second at bat with a retailer if you get thrown out. So as Chris was saying, marketing it's about a lot more than just having a fancy logo. I mean, sometimes your packaging can work against you because it looks too similar to everything else, right?
Right.
So when you hold something in your hand, it can look beautiful and you're like, man, this is awesome. But until you go put it in your category set with all your competitors, you may look up and go, damn, everybody's orange.
Yeah.
Or no one can read my logo. Because when you have a person who walks into the beer cave at the XYZ store, unless they're really committed to you, they want to find it fast. Most shoppers are lazy, and most shoppers in every category have what's called the evoked set. What does that mean? It means I want to go get beer today. And in your mind, pop probably 2 or 3 brands. And you might have a favorite. But if I'm looking for N150, which I always am from Chris's shop, if I can't find that, what do I default to? So the first real hurdle is to elbow your way into as many consumers' evoked set as possible. So it goes brand awareness, brand preference, to brand insistence. And when you hit that last one, you're really cooking then.
Bruce, I have a question that I ask all of my clients when I'm doing an initial consultation. And the first question is, what is the number one search engine? And most people most people will say Google or Bing or this or that, and no, it's not. That's incorrect. The number one search engine is the human brain. So if you know the brand, if you know the product, if you like the product, and it could be anything. It could be, I have a blowout. I'm in this part of town. I know who to call to come and help me with this. My car broke down. I have a particular mechanic that I choose. I don't need to go on Google to determine where I'm going to take my vehicle. I have my favorite brand. When I go into Three Roads or I'm out and about and I buy a Three Roads beer, I love the hybrids. That's my favorite. So to your point as well, if that's not available, then I'm going to go to whatever's closest, the next brand down my short list.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Mike, and that's a great point. I mean, people's first search engine is their own personal experiences.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I ever eat there again? I felt terrible after I ate there. So, and then the second one I'd say that's very powerful is your trusted, friends and family. Hey, Chris, I need new tires and I just moved here. Where do you go? If he tells me XYZ, I'm probably going to go there first. And if I have a good experience, they move to lead off in my batting order the next time. But if I'm striking out, or in my case, have no friends, then yeah, I'm probably going to Google.
Well, I'll be your friend, Bruce. So when we invite folks to come to the tap room, either through an event or a festival or just through advertising, we know that they're going to have a great experience. We know that they're going to really enjoy the atmosphere. We know that they're going to really enjoy the beer. Once we've got them, and we hear this more times than not, this is the first time I've been here. This is, I didn't hear about this place until so-and-so told me about it, or until I saw your event. And once folks come in, and once they experience it for the first time, they're hooked, and they come back again and again and again. So what is, what's the metric, Bruce, for that, or what, how?
Yeah. So Mike, you're really, so Mike, you're uncorking a MBA level class in marketing. So what you're talking about, the equation goes like this. You have to drive awareness. Awareness drives trial. Mm-hmm. Trial drives repeat. And after you have repeat and you hit conversion, where that you become brand used most often. So you have to fill, everyone refers to the sales funnel. I hate the analogy, but it works. You have to do what you can efficiently to get the awareness out there to drive as much trial as possible. And then the product needs to deliver, right? Because most people, even if they come in and try, they're going to give you the old thing. You only get one chance to make a first impression. In Chris's case, you want a good environment where, you feel like you can have fun. The beer's cold. It tastes great. You're probably going to come back. If you go in and, there's some like lunatic with his 9 pet pit bulls, like licking their chops trying to get you, and the beer's flat, you're like, yeah, I don't need that again. That's so every day for a small brand or a company, it's like a performance, right? It's got to be good. Every day is a performance. I heard an analogy once about Disney World and a Disney executive, this years ago. And the lady said, she goes, every day at Disney World is the best day of somebody's life, because many families can't afford to go there multiple times. They go once.
No, and that is a great analogy as well. Chris, let's talk about this, and let's kind of combine these two. The challenges of running a small emerging challenger brand or business, plus, what does the founder or the founding organization folks need to consider as they're building out the team, as they're building the brand? What do you need to do?
Well, that's a very, I'd like to tell you. I wish I knew. I mean, basically, I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy, and I mean, I like to get advice and talk to people that know more than I do. But at the end of the day, you got to do it yourself for the most part. You can't abdicate it. You can certainly get consultation and the like, but it's a trial by fire, and it's a trial and error sort of an experience, right? I mean, you start off small, and basically you're trying to get beer through the taps in your tap room, and that's your first line. You know, that's how you determine whether you're successful or not. Do people like my beer? Is the environment what they want it to be? And then you grow it, and that's when you start to worry about social media and branding and how do I become, you know, how do I get more people aware of my brand? And now, you know, the real hard part is how do I get more people aware of my brand outside of my home markets, right? For sake of discussion, Farmville and Lynchburg and Danville are relatively easy because we're there. You know, Northern Virginia, Richmond's a very competitive market, and we're bumping into lots of headwinds in that market just because we're not from Richmond per se. You know, you go to the beaches, et cetera. All of those are difficult. You know, you just take toehold after toehold. But I like your analogy or your funnel, Bruce, in the sense is, I mean, we're really what that brought me back to is awareness is what we've got to. We've really got to spend a lot of time, and we're still at the awareness step. And then
the other thing, I'm sorry, Chris.
I said the other piece that I think is really important is the differentiation, because I love my packaging. I mean, I am partial to it. I think it's great. You know, I like where it came from, which is an interesting story in itself. But if it's sitting on a shelf, it's not easy for me to find it, and I know it. You know, I know it like the back of my hand. And so, you know, there's some need to somehow make it pop, differentiate ourselves in some way, shape, or form. So we went to so basically, as we started, we're not distributing, we're not canning, we're not doing anything, but we wanted posters of our beers. And so I went to Longwood University's design lab. So anybody going into graphic arts or whatever was basically had to run through this class that is supposed to mimic or look like, you know, the real market, right? And so 5 kids did 5 different labels, and I kept all the original labels, but this one gal, her name is Rachel Hansen, did the fog light, and she did it in the purple, blue, you know, the kind of the psychedelic sorts of colors. You can see it right there. That's exact. And so I liked her coloration, and so she took over the rest of the labels and colored them. You know, so the hybrid is the same hybrid we had. The top-down blonde is the same top-down blonde. I can't remember the 5 of them. It was in 150, hybrid chalice, fog light, top-down blonde. Those were our flagships. And then there was another one called we had a red ale or something that didn't quite make it through the poster phase. It did not come into the flagship genre. And we're coming out with a new beer called Destination, and it's going to be very interesting because the label is completely different. I think it's really clean, and I think we're going to put we are putting a lot of effort in taking the game up a couple of notches as it relates to promotions, advertising, graphic arts, the look of the can, all of that stuff.
So, Mike, one of the things Chris said that's super interesting and important for any of the brands that Tracy and I have seen is that if you're small, the first thing you need to do is project out and defend your home markets. You know, there are conferences. There's one called Expo West, which is held each year out in Anaheim for 3 days, and it's like Woodstock for small, emerging, natural, organic brands. I mean, it's massive. It's overwhelming. But we'll talk to brands, and they're like, "Hey, I talked to so and so retailer from Phoenix, and they're willing to put me in." And I'm like, "But you're a New England-based snack company. Why would you do that? No one's heard of you. You don't have the marketing dollars to win there." So if you think about it in a series of like concentric circles, you know, in our instance here in Lynchburg, start in Lynchburg. And then if you can, you know, go to Roanoke, get up to Charlottesville. Because like Chris says, you get into Richmond, no one's heard of you. You go to Virginia Beach, It's not that you can't win, but it's going to be tougher, riskier, and probably a lot more expensive.
That's exactly right. And the concentric circles, I think whether it's just natural but it was clear to me at the very outset that first we needed to own Farmville, and then we had to own Lynchburg. And we really, and that's where the beer's the freshest, and that's where you've got some pull as to being local. Then hopefully you've built a reputation that, you can start to grow those circles wider and wider and wider and start to head into the farm, the Richmonds, and at least people will have, you'll have some customers that know who you are.
And Mike, some of the things that you're doing with Chris's team are super important to building a brand. I mean, Chris, I've only been to the Lynchburg facility. I've been accused of loitering at certain times when I'm there a lot.
Yeah, but we never kicked you out.
Right.
No, not yet. But it feels good. It's nice. It's a great environment. And then, the events and people you bring in, I mean, there's all kinds of different things that appeal to a ton of different people, but it's always interesting. And if people start associating good beer with a cool environment, a good time, there's not people in there that, drink 10 beers and want to fight, there's no baloney, right? So, and that all goes into building brands that are fun. I mean, you look at what's happened to Nike, they lost their edge with athletes and performance, and they hired a CEO and who I'm sure did what he was told. He went totally digital, built the hell out of their e-com business, but kind of abandoned retailers and kind of dumbed down the performance edge, right? I'm an old basketball player. I'm not LeBron or Michael Jordan, but damn, I want to wear shoes associated with winning, right? And performance.
Well, it is a fun. Take it from me because I'm there frequently, whether it's for work or not. It is an extremely fun environment. It's an effortless environment in terms of the folks are at all the tap rooms. The folks are genuine. It has been an organic community building process.
I think I appreciate that because that's exactly, each one has its own personality and has really taken on the personality of the people that work there, it's really fascinating in its way because they are all they're similar in many respects, but they're also each individual and unique.
The other thing, Mike, that Chris can articulate certainly better than me because he's the founder and he's the boss. One of the things that we see with lots of small challenger emerging brands is they either lack funding or they're so determined in their one little niche or the cause they're supporting, which is all great. But if they can't sell at a high enough velocity in a retailer, they're going to get dropped. There's all kinds of theme-based brands or cause-driven, and some of them, a lot of consumers will tell you, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I'll pay an extra 10 cents a pound for coffee that helps the farmer. And then it comes showtime in the aisle at Kroger, and they're like, I'm not paying an extra 10 cents a pound.
Well, that's the trouble. That's the trouble with surveys, right? Surveys, everybody lies. Oh, yeah.
Right.
You do that. I definitely buy that. If you do that, I'm behind you 100%.
Yeah.
You never
One of the things that, Tracy and I see a lot is we see that, founders' expansion plans or this or that, there's more resilience in their plan than in their bank account. And, sadly, money's kind of the gas and oil that runs the machine. You need a good product, you need a good team, but you got to have some dough to get the word out, or you have to have super deep pockets where you're like, you know what, if this takes me 10 years, so be it. Not a lot of people that are entrepreneurs and successful are used to lighting money on fire and just waiting and waiting and waiting.
Oh, no. They're very definitely used to lighting money on fire. The waiting part's the hard one. They want immediate turnaround. I light it on fire and I want the fireman to come in with the fire extinguisher and take me out.
Well,
Tom Petty said the waiting is the hardest part, Chris.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the financing of a business, the raising money, and even committing your own money and loans. I have done all of the above to build my brands. I have been an owner in broadcast 100% from the year 2000. And prior to that, in 1995, I had my first opportunity to be a part owner. Our CEO at the time probably shouldn't have told me how much money we had in the bank because I went on an aggressive expansion plan. That succeeded. We built an incredible brand over the next 3 years, and we were poised to continue to grow, but a larger brand discovered us and made us an offer that we couldn't refuse. So we ended up selling after only 3 years.
That's everybody's dream, right? Even if you don't want to sell, you want somebody to want you.
Yeah. Well, and it was a courtship that just couldn't be ignored. After a while, we were an employee-owned company. There were 13 of us, and it just eventually got to the point where it was to benefit the shareholders. We could not pass up this offer. It would not have been part of the fiduciary responsibility to ignore their offers again and again and again. But getting started and then pivoting, and everybody has checks, and we all went our separate ways. I put mine into my own business, and maybe that wasn't the smartest thing. I took 100% of the check that I received and put it right back into another business.
That's burning the ships, baby. That's what they did with the Trojan War. It's like, guys, you're fighting your way home. You don't have any choices.
That's
what Elon Musk did. Didn't he take all his money out of PayPal or whatever he did and put it into Tesla or whatever his next venture was? He was not uncommitted.
And that was it for me. But for brands like Three Roads and for other businesses, Chris, what's your advice as far as the financing of a business, or raising money, or committing your own money?
Money is very difficult to raise. You're going to find friends and family close by. I mean, the difficulty, depending on, what I wanted and what's important to me is I didn't want to. You can't do this stuff by committee. It's nice to have people to help you, to bounce things off of, et cetera. But ultimately, I don't play well with others in that regard, and so I didn't want to. But we got 50 or 60 investors, small investors. We wanted local ownership. It's 100% privately owned. I've funded the vast majority of it, and all of our employees, or most of our employees, have some ownership, and so that's the important part to me. And you just got to be cautious as you expand. You can't just spend money willy-nilly, and there is a tendency, if people raise money from outside and are able to do that successfully, I think that you become, it's kind of like you were talking about, if you know how much is in the bank account, you can get silly. You can get a little careless.
So if I may, Mike, Chris's example with him as the primary funder and founder and the guy who can call the shots is really important, because on our podcast, we've interviewed some investment bankers and investors about what they look for, right? So this is whether it's the latest protein bar, Three Roads, or a medicine. You can go to friends and family, which is risky, but at least they know you and they'll know that, Chris works hard, and even if it doesn't make it, it's not because he mailed it in. But to be perfectly honest, we've heard stories that leads to some, uncomfortable family dynamics, because Uncle Frank might have given you $25,000, and to him that is a ton of money. And if you go under, you might get sideways looks for the next 3 Thanksgivings. There's places like Kickstarter where you can fund. There are places like a group called Kick Further, which fund inventory if you have POs. So that helps you manage your cash flow. They're a very interesting place. Then if you get a little bit bigger, there's all kinds of investment firms that deal with angel funding, venture funding. But one thing, we just had a woman founder on. She said, the worst thing I ever did was take any money because I didn't take much, but now I have a voice at the table and they ask me a ton of questions. So she said, if I did it again, I would either take no money or I'd take more, because to just take a little, and
you still got the voice at the door, but you don't have the amount of money. What I've found in my real business life is that it's usually the small investor that makes the most noise. The bigger guys, if you got the guy that puts $1 million into a business, he is like, okay, I understand the business, and I'm not going to bother these guys. It's the guy that's got 50,000 in it that says, asking questions every time that you spend an undue amount of time with. I think that the ability to make your own decisions and the like, and then if you're going to take money, I think what your person was saying is exactly right. Go big.
Yeah.
And so there are a number. I've had conversations with a number of these crowdfunding type places that are pushing into the beverage space, and so there is an opportunity, a potential opportunity there. I don't know if you guys are aware of or familiar with Island Brands. They're out of Charleston, South Carolina, and they were pushing. They raised $5 or $6 million through one of these Kickstarter type campaigns, and have used that to expand up and down the East Coast. I think they're doing well. I think they got themselves a $5 or $6 million war chest, and that's probably enough to make a big difference.
Yeah, a couple of other things here, Mike, about taking money from people. We interviewed a woman. Her episode is not posted yet. Her name is Teddy Townsend, and she's with CG Sawaya Partners, a pretty big consumer packaged goods investment bank up in New York. And Teddy said one of the big things that emerging brands make a mistake is the capital they take. There's not alignment on the goal, right? Right. Some people want to run a brand and turn it over to their grandchildren. Most people want to give you money and get a return in a certain period of time. And that's why
they want to build it and sell it. I mean, that's the only way you get the money out of it, right? So that's right.
Or they at least want Chris to buy out, Mike, the minority shareholder, so they can go do something else.
Right.
So that was a really interesting point she talked about. And then the two other things, and Chris touched on this a bit, is when you take capital, I'm going to oversimplify. There's really two buckets, right? There's the people who can just write the check. And like Chris said, they're sort of sophisticated. They know they're taking a risk. They might know the business. They'll ask some questions, but they'll be calm, maybe. The other type of money you can take is value added capital, where let's project into Chris's world here for a second. Maybe it's someone who has a really good distributor business into, say, Wawa, and they want to invest some money, so they bring more to the table for Chris and his firm than just cash. They bring some access, or at least potential access, into Wawa, which could be helpful to Chris as he tries to project out his concentric circles. So, having value-added capital and some of these other consumer packaged goods businesses, Mike, that's important, is finding people that might be really well connected at Walmart, or they really know digital marketing, or they know how to sell on Amazon. So, these are the things you need to weigh. If I invest with Chris is thinking, what does Bruce bring to the table that's actually helpful to me aside from a check?
Absolutely. And the experience and the knowledge and the connections that you could bring to that as well is literally invaluable. We're talking with Bruce Montgomery from Road to Retail, Chris Sadler, founder of Three Roads Brewing, on the Mike Show. Went a little longer than 10 minutes.
Yes, it did. We should do this again. There's other things that we can talk about.
This was a tremendous introduction to an incredible brand, one that I believe in wholeheartedly. And you can find us there each week. At either Three Roads in Lynchburg or Three Roads at Farmville, Ballad Brewing down in Danville, which we haven't touched on, but we will in let's say part 2. We'll talk on Ballad Brewing as well. Bruce and Chris, final thoughts.
Well, Mike, thanks for having us on. I always enjoy spending time with Chris talking about Three Roads. I'm a big fan of what he and his folks are building, and I always bring a knife and fork for my N150. That baby is a meal. If anyone wants to learn more about what we're doing, our podcast, Road, the number 2 Retail, it's out on all Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the website, www.road2retail.com. We'd love to help. Love small emerging challenger brands. Entrepreneurs intrigue me because most of them are all gas, no brake.
Well, thanks a lot for having Mike. This is fun, and
absolutely. Well,
I like the opportunity to talk about our beer, and always good to hear what Bruce is thinking about, because he's got the. It's fascinating to me how much talent we have in Lynchburg. I mean, it's a hell of a town.
Likewise, I agree wholeheartedly. Check out Three Roads. You can visit the tap rooms, 1300 Court Street in downtown Lynchburg and Farmville as well. And again, Ballad Brewing down in Danville. Go to the number 3 roadsbrewing.com for more information and follow their social media. Guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and looking forward to talking with you again soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mike. See you, Chris.
See you, Bruce.
It is the Mike Show. Coming up a little bit later on, we have your audio vault. Stay tuned.
Three Roads Brewery is Lynchburg's gathering spot. Enjoy the relaxed open atmosphere of the Lynchburg Tap Room with plenty of space to unwind, or outside on their expansive patio with friends and the entire family. Check out Three Roads games, arcade style, darts, and more. And of course, an excellent selection of craft beers brewed on site. Grab a Three Roads today at their tap room, 1300 Court Street, downtown Lynchburg, their tap room in Farmville, or anywhere they serve great beer. Three Roads is also available at area convenience stores and supermarkets. And if they don't carry Three Roads, ask them to. Brewing community, Three Roads Brewery.
On December 23rd, a fire next to the Free Clinic of Central Virginia's building caused significant damage to the clinic, leaving the entire building affected by smoke and fire damage. The building has been temporarily condemned as assessments are underway. Free Clinic is devastated to share that they will be closed for an extended period of time that is still to be determined. Please know Free Clinic is working tirelessly on plans to continue serving you in other locations as soon as possible. Your care remains their top priority. To the community and volunteers, they need you now more than ever. Please donate to Free Clinic of Central Virginia. Visit freeclinicva.org/donate for more information. Thank you for standing with us during this challenging time. Together, we will rebuild and continue serving our community.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio
434.
All right, let's open it up. It's your audio vault for today. Our collection of bits and clips and viral audio for your ear holes. I think you'll like it. Let's go directly to viral videos. A TikToker named Taylor Wolf is going viral for a video where she plays a millennial mom telling her own boomer mom how to parent in 2025.
Be careful. We don't say be careful anymore. Instead, say, what's your plan here?
I don't even know my plan. Do you know your plan?
Don't stop. Hit your sister. Don't say stop. Say gentle. Gentle what? Gentle hands.
Gentle hands? What else is gentle?
Gentle everything.
I am so proud of you.
You're not supposed to tell kids you're proud of them anymore. That's putting the focus on you.
What?
I'm so proud. Don't say that.
What should I say instead?
You should be so proud.
I am so proud.
No, it's back on you again.
Hey, hurry up. We gotta go.
Don't rush her. If you rush children, it makes them anxious.
What am I supposed to say then?
Gentle.
Okay, yeah. All right. The Boy Scouts officially changed their name to Scouting America on Saturday to be more inclusive. They waited for their 115th anniversary on February 8th to make it official. Here's the CEO, Roger Crone, explaining why he decided to pull the trigger on the name change.
The argument that I make with the people that say, well, I always like Boy Scouts of America or BSA, why do we have to change? Membership is at historic lows. Part of my job is to reduce all the barriers I possibly can for people to accept us as an organization and to join.
Today is National Poop Day. So in celebration, here are the Toilet Bowl Cleaners with the poop song.
Oh, poop, 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 poop,
Yep.
poop, 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 poop,
So with that, a Minnesota man who won a free cruise ended up owing $47,000 to Norwegian Cruise for getting treated on board over 3 days for the flu. Here's Mike Cameron and his girlfriend, Tamra Masterman, talking about the ordeal.
I mean, I really don't know how I'm going to ever pay him off. I'm going to have to, but I don't know how. To turn around the day we're leaving and get handed a $47,000 bill, I just didn't even know what to do. And everybody in the medical ward kept saying, don't worry, you have $20,000 coverage. You'll be just fine.
Well, the traveler's insurance doesn't want to pay it until we run it by our health insurance. The health insurance doesn't want to pay it because it's abroad.
Oh, poop. Poop, 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 poop.
Yep.
Poop, poop, poop. Poop, 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 poop.
Anyway. We did plenty of Super Bowl coverage. Although, let's show this. Several people posted video of Taylor Swift getting booed during the Super Bowl. They had her on the Jumbotron when the booing began.
Oh, poop.
Oh, wait.
Poop, 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 poop,
No, that's the wrong one. Here, where is it? All right, there it is. Here you go. Now, Taylor was unaware of what was going on. A Swiftie informed us that the last time Taylor was at the Caesars Superdome last October, she broke the record for attendance in New Orleans and had 3 sold-out shows there, 3 times more than the Super Bowl last night. All right, skip that. Okay, let's do this one, because this one was kind of cool. Even though it was leaked more than a week ago, people really liked seeing Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan recreate their deli scene, their iconic deli scene from When Harry Met Sally. But this time, Meg puts Hellman's mayonnaise on her sandwich and, well, really likes the taste.
I can't believe they let us back in this place. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, boy.
So good. Oh, it's so.
This one's real.
Oh.
Now that is a sandwich. I'll have what she's having.
Yeah, that was Sydney Sweeney, by the way, with that line, which was iconic. All right, we wrap up Audio Vault with a comedian, and today is no exception. Here's comedian Justin McKinney on a Super Bowl statistic that he disagrees with.
Got 2 kids. They're not Super Bowl babies, though. We all know what Super Bowl babies are. If you've seen the commercial the last couple of years during the Super Bowl, apparently 9 months after the time of the Super Bowl, there's a rise in births. So the NFL put out this commercial, showing, oh, these are all the babies born 9 months after this year's Super Bowl. This is how old they are now. So the NFL's taking credit for this. Like, mom and dad are watching the Super Bowl. They get horny. They go into the bedroom, have sex. 9 months later, there's a baby. Okay, first of all, do you know what other day happens within a week of the Super Bowl every year? Valentine's Day, exactly. I think that's when married guys are getting laid. Ladies, is there any day a man is less attractive than Super Bowl Sunday? Ooh, beer breath and buffalo farts. I gotta have that. I can't keep my hands on. I love the way your belly sticks out under that replica jersey. You look just like Tom Brady with your old deflated balls.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, that's your Audio Vault for today. Let's reach over here and lovingly grab the handle, but firmly give it a tug. Keep all that sound inside. All right, coming up, we're going to get stupid with your stupid criminals in the news, and then we've got some good news for you. This portion of our broadcast is brought to you in part by Jersey Mike's Subs.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, impatience, baby-like wonder, indecisive, anticipatory chewing, nervous pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Hi, I'm Matt Bright, the new owner of CRI Digital Impressions. And I'm excited to announce a new chapter in the century-long history of CRI. Mutual Press was founded in 1927, and in 1973 it merged with CRI to become CRI Mutual Press. In 2002, it was renamed CRI Digital Impressions. I also own Bright Images, which has provided print and media services to the area since 1995. Yes, there is a new owner and a new location, but the same commitment to quality and service. In fact, quality and service are the cornerstones of my business philosophy. Quick turns and service with a smile. From business cards to banners and pamphlets to paperback books, we can provide all your printing needs. Call, visit us online, or stop by our location at 3022 Memorial Avenue, Lynchburg. We look forward to serving you.
From brand new to lightly used, CMA's Honda of Lynchburg's got you covered. Shop our growing selection today and find our best deals on our entire inventory. That's savings on every single vehicle. And on our used cars, take 3 days to love it or leave it. Plus, we'll buy your current vehicle. Trade in with us and get an unbeatable offer. Start shopping and saving today. CMA's Honda of Lynchburg. Owners just care more.
The Mike Show on Radio 434.
Radio 434.
All right, time once again for Stupid Criminals in .news. All right. We've had GPS on our phones for well over a decade. I guess these guys hadn't heard. 2 idiots in Missouri got caught with drugs the other day after stopping to ask the police for directions. Their names are Aaron Reagan and Alan Richards. They're both 27. They pulled up next to some police on January 31st and asked how to get to Osage Beach. Oh, it's in the Ozarks, in the middle of the state. Turned out they were already in Osage Beach and didn't realize. And that's right around when the officers realized they might not be sober. The police stopped to ask them, or the police they stopped to ask happened to be there doing a training session for drug dogs. So they brought a dog over and found 2 grams of meth. Yep, both men are facing drug possession charges. And then there's this. Do we have another audio story? I think we might. I thought there was one in here. Oh, here we go. Somebody in Seattle stole more than 500 eggs from a restaurant the other night. Here's the general manager of Luna Park Cafe, David Park, talking about the crime.
We saw the guy with the van, and then we tried to block them, and then they just almost crashed us, and then they just ran away. But they didn't touch anything. They just stole the egg, liquid egg, and some meat. The champagne costs more, but they stole the egg.
There's good news in the world, and we like to share it during this particular segment because there is so much stupidity. The Never Miss a Super Bowl Club is still at it. The 3 surviving members, aged 88, 85, and 82, all made it to yesterday's game. They've gone to every Super Bowl since the first one in 1967. Here they are talking about this year's game.
It's great to get with these guys again. I'm probably one of the original members.
My favorite city to watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the people here, the weather usually is good.
My favorite city is New Orleans.
And there you go. That is the good news. The good news is brought to you in part by the United Way of Central Virginia. It's their United Way 5K on the runway. It's the 5th annual United Way 5K on the Runway, taking place on Saturday, April 26th at 5 p.m. at the Lynchburg Regional Airport. The course is fast and flat, following the taxiway next to the main runway. Experience planes and all things aviation in this unique race to benefit the United Way of Central Virginia. For more information and to register, visit uwrunway5k.com. All right. Well, that is it. That is the program. We are back tomorrow.
Goodbye. Don't come back.
No, we're back tomorrow with another thrilling edition of The Mike Show. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning our way, and if you're listening in your car right now, thanks for the ride.
Scotty, beat me up.
We'll see you here again tomorrow.
Who's going to do the dishes?